Coming up on LiveWire, we've got a great show for you today. And it's an interesting show because you want to, because you're sitting in a room watching television and I'm talking to you, but you should actually look around your room, look around the walls and see what you have. You probably have some art on the walls or some copies of art. But there's an event coming up in Sacramento which will be like the people who walked around Paris in 1910 and said, oh, I think I'd like that Mr. Picasso's work. How much is it? Got it for a few pennies or dollars or francs. Took it home, and 60 years later, it's worth millions. But they also still have it, and it's a beauty on their wall. So you stay tuned for LiveWire, and we're going to talk about that. The project is called Open Studios, and it happens over the next 2 weekends in beautiful Sacramento. I think that's right, isn't it right? Mm-hmm, yeah. Over the next 250 artists will open their studios so that you can go and visit them if you wish. But you can actually get to choose to do that. And with me in the studio is Mardie Dalzell Driftmier, who is an artist, and it's one of the 250 students.
One of them.
One. But it's an amazing experience, must be, because you're opening your studio and people climb around and ask you about your art. And will you sell them any art if they really want to?
Of course.
Oh, of course. Good, good. And I'm sure some of those 250 will. So it's an amazing thing. So how do you find out about where to go and how to do that? Well, each artist studio will have one of these things. And your studio is at, where is it? At California Stage Arts Center.
Complex at the corner of 25th and R. Mm-hmm. And it's a standalone studio by myself in one of their various buildings.
Great. Okay. Well, there it is. And we just showed a clip of where it is. And also, this little device right here, where is it? Oh, there it is. This is a device that shows exactly all of the artists, who they are, where they are, and how you could get there. And I think what's really wonderful is that it shows a little bit of their art. Wow. There. Can you know if you can? I know you can't see any one of those, but Mardie, you've got a little space somewhere in one.
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay. And so all of the 250 artists, you can see at least one of their pieces, but you need to get this thing. And the producer of this event is?
Verge Center for the Arts.
Verge Center for the Arts. This is right down in Midtown. And you can go and collect one of these things there and then make this a trip of a lifetime. I mean, look at this. This happens once a year, every year. And I want that. Oh. Every year, and around 250 or more.
260 artists participate with their studios and various viewing sites.
Yeah, and over a 2-week period, correct?
It's September 9th and 10th is the first weekend. Mm-hmm. It's just a Saturday, Sunday event. And September 16th and 17th is the second weekend. And it's divided into 2 groups. There's the groups that the artists that are west of 9980 corridor. Mm-hmm. Those studios are open the first weekend, which is the 9th and the 10th. And the second weekend will be all those artists that are located east of the I-80, 90, 99 corridor.
I see. Okay.
And it's from from 10 a.m. to 5.
Oh, 10 a.m. to 5. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, this is really amazing. And I want to talk about your work because you have a wonderful variety of work, and you brought some here for us to see, and we will we will look at them, but I wanted to ask you some questions first about it. So you were walking down the street one day and you're a young person and you think I'm going to be an artist. Is that how it happened?
No, usually it's a little more, it's a more winding path than that. Often, for me, I actually was a CPA initially coming out of college, and I practiced for about 15 years. And then after that, I always had an interest in art, and I've always drawn, and I've always painted, and I actually did quite a bit of art, took quite a few courses in college. I just slowly shifted my venue to art.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It was just a slow, I took classes in the evening and various, and just finally, at the urging of my spouse, I switched professions.
You did? Okay.
Right, yeah.
Well, this must be, and has it been worth it?
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you love it.
I love
Good.
it,
Well,
yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, it's a,
So let's talk about the kind of work you do. I mean, I think we can look at some of it, but I think it's interesting because you change. Here's a piece of art. This is a drawing of something, a tree. Tell me, this is a part of a series that you're doing, isn't it?
yes, it is.
Tell me about the series.
So this is a new series that I started. I moved to Sacramento about 5 years ago, and 4 years ago I started sketching, taking weekly trips to the American River, and started a whole sketching practice of sketching just the American River habitat.
And painting, obviously. Here's a painting piece.
And then from that, I decided that I would like to learn how to paint with oils, so I used oils. So I started painting small vignettes of the American River, taken from my plein air sketches. And then I gave myself a challenge after that to see if I could paint 100 small vignettes of the American River.
That's great.
And that's what I'll be showing in my studio for Open Studios, are my vignettes.
Have you gotten to the 100?
Well, I'm on my way.
Right.
It's a long way.
Okay.
I'm a third of the way through, so I literally finished my 33rd vignette.
Fantastic.
So it's, yeah.
Good,
So
good.
so that's it's a goal that I have.
So how does it work? You know, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things. This is called plein air. Plein air?
Plein air, yeah.
Plein air. It means going outside, right? That's all it means? And
It
painting?
means painting outside.
Okay.
It means like Van Gogh painting outside,
Yeah.
right?
Plein air.
Yeah.
So you go along the river and you say, oh, I love that tree. Or, oh, that's
Right.
this amazing composite of the water and the trees and the bushes and all of that. I want that. And so you sketch it,
Right.
and then you look at the sketch and you think, well, this could be made into a painting.
Right.
And so then you blow it up onto the canvas. How do you do it?
I do. I kind of remember as I sketch. You can tell from my sketchbook. As I sketch, I write notes down about the location and so maybe the lizard that runs across my page,
I see.
the bird that flies over high, you know, the kayaker with the dog that floats by. And so I try to capture some of that in my painting. I think about all that day at the river. And that's what I paint from. And then also, as I've visited so many sites so many times, I start to look for something that's maybe more special that day, that might be a little different than what I've seen before. Whether it can be the lighting, you know, the foliage change through the year, through the seasons, the colors change, you know, the greens change. They start as a yellow green in the spring, and then they turn into a blue green, and then by the end of the summer, everything's golden. So I paint the change of the seasons. I paint the sandhill cranes when they come in. It's evolving, you know. It's a 12-month-a-year practice.
It's a real experience of that work. And then you take your drawings and you bring to the studio. You have a studio, and then you say, oh, I love this. This should just, and you put it up on a canvas.
Yes, I often work on paper, special paper that's for oil. I'm just doing small studies right now, so these are not, I'm starting to paint on much larger canvases now.
Yes.
And those actually, I do these smaller studies, and then from those smaller studies, I kind of combine a couple of paintings to create a larger canvas.
Well, let's have a look at some of those studies. Here's a couple. There they are. Come on, you could do it. Tell me about them. There they are. So we are going to look at them. There they are. And maybe you could zoom in a little bit there. Yeah. So tell me
these
about
are
these
actually,
two, the two we're looking at.
So these are two studies from Sailor Bar, which is down on the, I guess that would be the northern side of the river just before Natomas.
I can see that you're looking down on the river itself through that little slit between the trees, the bushes.
Exactly. I have a small camp stool, and I have a bag of sketchbook and some pencils, and often I take watercolors, and I'll sit down for a few hours and actually sketch out those scenes.
Wow.
I really work a lot with color. Color's kind of my signature.
Yes,
So-
obviously it's great, but you bring out some of the colors, like there's a scene there, the one we're looking at right now. I wish I could get a really good look at the color of the water, and I don't know if the cameras can bring that up, but it is just so fabulous. I can see that water rushing along there.
And I also make some of the colors up.
Oh yeah, oh there, now we're getting a little closer, see? Isn't it great? And those are like kind of green areas.
The river's not necessarily blue.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do emphasize some blue in it just to create a, I'm interested in creating a very vital composition too.
Yeah, I think there's it says this is a review of your work. It says here, she uses bold color, exploring lines and layers and shapes to produce a work at the meeting point of the representational and the abstract.
Right, I think that's true.
Wow.
That I kind of, I think that I'm trying to paint something that I see, but also kind of some of the feelings or the sensations that you feel while you're there.
Sure.
Yeah.
By representational, it means more towards the realistic.
Yeah.
And then it's between that and abstract, which means the different colors or a different shape.
Yeah, exactly. And play with maybe the perspective to maybe stretch some areas and contrast others as I choose.
That's right. That's
to
right.
make an interesting composition.
Yeah, this is good. Fun, huh?
I really, it's always a challenge.
Yeah. So you said that you wanted to do 100, and you're at 30.
33.
33.
Right.
So you got a way to go.
So I probably have another year or two on me of doing this.
Good, good. And this event that we were talking about earlier, which is a open studio, 250 open artists or open studios.
Right.
But you're going to be open, and there's also another artist along at the California Stage Arts Complex on September 9th and 10th, right?
From 10 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay, and you can see two artists there.
So yes, definitely. So Heather Galloway will be showing in another
Part of the
studio,
building? Yeah,
studio beside mine.
Good.
So we'll both be there.
Good. So, and people come in, be able to walk in, ask you questions, pull out their wallet and say, I want that on that wall there.
Yeah, but I want to stress that everyone, I welcome everyone to come, that it's open to everyone, it's a free event, it's just a fun way to see artists in their studio. Sometimes you're curious where something's created. You can see all of their materials.
Their organization.
Or lack of, yeah, right?
I think so too. It is so amazing to be able to actually go into an artist's studio, because I'm sure in many cities, you can't really see you can only imagine the way they work
Yeah, right.
and how they do it. Do you do like 4 paintings at once?
I wish I could. Yeah, I think that's a goal.
Uh-huh.
But often I do think I definitely start many pieces, and I kind of wander between pieces. You're right, because it's hard to finish a piece, and sometimes you have to wait a while for a piece to really finish itself.
Yeah, there was a terminology here. I said wisdom of uncertainty. So and this is interesting, unexpected directions during the process of creation. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think that really your strongest pieces probably come apart at some time, and you have to be really risky, and you have to pull it back together. Mm-hmm. So I want to say is that making art can be frustrating because you think it's going to go one way, and what you put on the paper actually goes another way, mm-hmm. and you just have to work with it and enjoy that challenge.
Wow. Okay, if you just tuned in, I'm talking with Mardie Dalzell Driftmier, who is an artist as part of the 250 Artist Open Studios that's coming right up in beautiful downtown Sacramento. We have to take a short pause right now for cause, and we'll be back right after this with Mardie and some more interesting information about what it's like to be an artist.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do.
Did you have a good day at school?
She gave them some broth without any bread.
There you go.
And kissed them all soundly
Night night.
Good night. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back to LiveWire. I'm Ray Tatter, and with me in the studio is Mardie Dalzell, who is an artist in the town, and we are talking about an immense event that Sacramento puts on once a year. It is called the Open Studios, Sacramento Open Studios. It's where you go around to the various artist studios that you've chosen out of their immense book. Where is it? Okay. Out of their immense guidebook. And you can choose by looking at some of the art pieces in this book, if it gives you a kind of, or if you know an artist, you can probably, I can believe that they're probably part of this. And so it's an amazing experience to be able to do that. And then you might come away with a piece of art for your house to take down those fake ones and put up a real piece of art. I know. I find it fascinating because my wife and I, we do have a lot of art. I can't think of a piece of, maybe one, I don't know, a print, or two. But like oils and you work in a variety of contexts. Tell me how it worked out. You used to pick up oil, but now you're picking up Conte or whatever it is.
So first I started with pastels, and I kind of learned about color, and I learned to draw with pastels, and then from there I painted for years in the studio, and then a friend invited me to go outside and paint outside with her, and I'm quite an avid hiker, which was a wonderful blending of my two loves, and so she introduced me to this whole plein air painting. And so I started probably about 15 years ago, started painting outside, and really didn't even have a studio for a long time, just painted outside, pastels. And I used them to travel. And then when I moved to California, I met another plein air artist, and she and I actually painted the American Delta, the California Delta, for a couple years.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my introduction to California.
That's great.
And then when I moved to Sacramento, I found the river. So I kind of made that my home base.
Yeah, the river, it's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, it's a treasure. It's unique. Running through a city, it's astounding.
Yeah, it is, and there's a kind of a ruggedness about it. It hasn't been taken over by boat slips and all kinds of restaurants pushed over the water. It really has a kind of the whole areas you can walk, and in fact, we've had bears actually be able to get down as far as Sacramento just by going along the water on the side. And we realize that there's a bear there. Oh, run!
Well, it goes from from San Francisco all the way to the Sierras. So
Yeah.
it's a gateway to the Sierras. Yeah.
So fascinating, and also clearly a way for artists to be able to look at painting.
It's a wonderful place just to be. It's a wonderful place to sketch, and it's a wonderful place to sit beside, and everyone visits it. It's astounding.
So talk about the different kinds of art that you do. I mean,
So I started with pastels. And then and I painted exclusively with them for about 15 years, and then they're very dusty and they're very difficult to frame, so I just decided that maybe I would try some other mediums. And so I started really out in my backyard with inks, which are just using paintbrushes and sticks and things like that. I worked on paper with inks, drawing many wildflowers, which you'll see some of them in my studio at Open Studios. I still do that on the side. And then from there, I just thought that I would like to start working in something similar to pastels in the color sense and everything. So I switched to oils about 4 years ago. And so this is what you'll see in my studio is all of my new works in oils.
okay.
But it's taken me about 4 years for me to really
Get to
produce something that I would actually put on the wall.
Well, so I just want to remind folks, if you just tuned in, that we're talking about this event that's coming right up, September 9th through the 17th.
Yes.
And it features the works of how many artists?
260 artists.
200. So you can't do it all, but you can choose. And this book right here is the kind of thing you need to help you do it. It helps only in a certain way, the kind of art you might like. There are just all kinds of various artists who do abstract works and various kinds of painting, and also, I guess, they have studios everywhere. And you get this at the Verge.
Verge Center for Arts, and then also you'll see I noticed today that there are some turquoise like newspaper displays along some of the streets. I saw one at Folsom and 34, and Verge has put these out full of these directories. So you may look out around on streets in Midtown especially, and you may find some dispensers of these.
Yeah, because that's the deal. I mean, this is really an adventure, is to look at Melissa Uroff, Michael Dahl, Sherry Hacker, I know her work.
There you go.
Yeah. She used to have a studio there. And it just goes through and wonderful comical things and funny and very serious art too, in terms of this these subject matter. So it's an amazing event, and it's called SAC Open Studio.
And I also want to tell you that SAC Open Studios does have a website. And it's called sacopenstudios.com.
Oh, so
and
you
there
can
is a printable copy of the directory on the website that anyone can download
Okay.
if they're not able to locate it anywhere else.
Uh-huh.
And also on the website is a more extensive artist directory that you can look through artist images to help you make a choice, because this is a self-guided tour, and you get to decide where you want to go.
Oh, that's great. It really is an amazing event, and I have been to our other artist open studios. Let's look at, what are we looking at? We're looking at your work, some of your work. Okay. Oh, what's that? Talk to me.
Oh, those are some of my pastels, which I still do. I still do create for a winery called Aqueous Winery in Lodi.
Mm-hmm.
And this is it's taken from the American River, though. I
Look
show
at that
my
piece. There's the
yes.
American River. Looks like I've been there before in that spot.
It's an iconic spot, isn't it?
Yeah,
of the
it
American
really is.
River.
It really is. Those lovely pieces. And so you'll have a number of pieces like that. And you will be painting when I come to see you. Are you going to paint something there?
Oh, I hadn't thought
Let's do
about
that.
that. Would that be
Oh,
interesting?
yeah.
Oh, maybe I should have a piece
It's a little
up.
drama,
I will.
you know, a little
okay.
drama. You know.
I can do
They'll
some
watch
demos.
You know, what is this?
I can mix a few. Yeah, I
They'll
can mix a
watch
few
you do that.
paints.
I think that would be a little drama, you know. It
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
hurt.
I think I would enjoy that.
Mardie, I really want to thank you for coming to talk to me about art and your art specifically, and this event that's coming up, the Open Studios.
Thank you. Well, thank you for
appreciate
inviting
that.
me.
And come and see Mardie at the California Stage Arts Complex in beautiful downtown, the September 9th and 10th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay, we got to go. Yep, we do. And we want to thank you for watching us, and next week we'll see more of Mardie. Okay? Okay.
Do you want to go grab some frozen yogurt tonight?
Maybe another time. Thanks, though.
Hey, Charles, how do you like your burger?
Ooh, well done, I hope. I love this tree. Hey, honey. We thought we'd try something new.
Family art hour.
Come on, sit down.
Okay, guys, what do you think? That is you.
Oh, you got jokes. You're funny.
That is you, and that is your son, and your other son.